everybody, it's me, Tokkuri Yashi, and it has been 6 months since my last Prifest tier list, so it is about time to update it. Since then we have had 4 new Prifest characters: Eris, Anemone, Nefinera, and the Princess Sheffy. We also had an elemental update, so we will have a look how the existing Prifest characters have fared with this elemental update. Has their value gone up or down? We have got 25 Prifest characters currently in game, so we had better get on with this because there's a lot to go through. But first, if you haven't liked or subscribed to the channel yet, then please consider doing so. Getting to that 1,000 subscriber mark would mean a lot. Thank you very much. So let's jump into the first tier here, never used. Now these characters are going to be rated on how valuable they are in your account. Characters you're going to be using the most to the characters that are never really get used at all, and this bottom tier here, never used, is characters that don't really get any use in the game at all. I haven't seen them used much in the last 6 months, if at all. And from the Prifest tier list I did before, at least a little lyrical here, I've got some company here because we've got 3 characters down here now, not just the one character there, little lyrical. We have got Princess Peko here, who is a light physical character, moderately damaging tanks, who is more offensive, over 50% hit points, and a little more defensive under. The problem for Princess Peko is on the light physical team there are a lot of tank options, namely Xmas June, you've got the 6-star Nozomi, you've got sub-tank options like 6-star Yukari, 6-star Shizuru, and the other Pecorine characters as well. The Overload one probably getting the most use out of the Pecorine tanks that we have got. So she's not really been used at all. I've not seen her used anywhere in the game in the last 6 months, which is why she is here in the bottom tier, never used. The next character along, Princess Yui, a very similar story. A light magical character, AoE magical DPS with small team attack buffs. Again, has not been used in the game at all for quite a while actually, but definitely not in the last 6 months, which is a little bit strange because the light magical AoE team doesn't really have that many options. They have had a bit of an update recently with Kururu and Dream Park Maho, and you have got the Prifest Nenika, who we will be talking about later, but Yui doesn't seem to make the cut, and unfortunately for her, not been used in any modes recently. And finally in this tier we have the little lyrical, at least for them, they did have one spot where they could have been used in a story EX boss mode where they had a little bit of a boost, where a boost character. I believe it was a spring one because Kyoko was a character in that story. Other than that, they still have not been used at all. They have a light physical character, but the damage could be magical if the magical defense of the opponent is lower. All 3 of these characters, if you don't have them, they are not going to hardlock you. You're not going to miss not having these characters in the game, which is why they are down here in the bottom tier. So let's move over to the next tier up, niche use. And in this category, characters that maybe have a little bit of use in the game, but still not a huge amount. And we're starting off here with Anne and Grey, who are a fire magical character, a DPS whose damage grows with the marks they get per buff they receive. Maybe a year or so ago they were ranked very highly. They have kind of fallen off a little bit, not really been used at all. They did get a little bit of use in Abyssal Battle. They have been seen now and again maybe in Deep Quest. Maybe, I don't know if they've really been seen in Clan Battle, but again, very niche use. Now and again you may dust off the cobwebs and use them, but unlike a year ago, they are not used very much, and the elemental system, the elemental update, really hasn't saved them at all. And the same can be said for the next character on here, Akino Siren, who are a fire physical character, DPS, with attack, TP, and healing support for the team. Again, a very niche use. Perhaps they were used in the Abyssal Battle because we did have a fire one. Now and again in Clan Battle, perhaps 1 or 2 other modes, but again, not used too much if you do not have them, and I don't. I have not missed having them at all. So down here in the niche use tier, Ranfa, the next character along here, is a dark magical character, some AoE magical damage with magical defense down, and she does have a summon which could be useful. maybe tanking a few more hits. Again, not used too much. She was again used in an EX story mode boss with a boost character. I have seen her used now and again, perhaps in clan battle once or twice, and maybe in 1 or 2 deep quest teams. So again, you might get a little bit of use out of her if you do have her, but again, it is not as much as the other Prifest characters that are higher up on this tier list. Now, the final character in this list, Misora. She is dark magical, a multiple instance damage dealer with a magical defense down and some team support, team damage support. It feels a little bit bad to see her down here so low, but again, like Ranfa, she's not been used too much. She has been an EX character boost in a story event. Now and again in other modes you might see her. In clan battle, perhaps you might see her in something like Battle Stadium maybe, but again, it hasn't been really used too much recently. The elemental system has not really helped her either. That's why all of these characters are down here in the niche use. So let's move over to the next tier. Moderate use. So these characters get a little bit more use than niche use. So it might be nice to have them on your team. And we are going to start off here with Princess Ray. Now perhaps I was thinking maybe Misora in the tier below could have been up here. It was a hard decision, but Princess Ray is here because of Battle Stadium. Now she is a wind physical character. AoE DPS damage will increase with more targets. And like I said, Battle Stadium PvP is where this Princess Ray can still have a very good use. You will be happy to have her perhaps because she really can help with those modes, and that's why she's up here in moderate use tier. The next one, Kuroche. I don't think the elemental update has done her too much favour. She's a light physical character, AoE DPS with a battery mechanic, boosting her speed and damage, but at the risk of meltdown. Before the elemental update, just like Princess Ray, she was on most physical AoE teams. Now, because of the elemental update, we don't really get to see her used that much. Maybe the odd use in Battle Stadium again, perhaps the odd use in clan battle, but other than that, Kuroche's use has unfortunately fallen off a little bit. Like I said, the elemental update has not done her any favours. Next character along, Chizuru Reno, light physical double instance DPS with some attack and TP support and also physical defense down. This character is a nice character to have. They have been seen in clan battle, they have been seen in Battle Stadium now and again. They've also been seen a lot in Deep Quest, and I'm pretty sure when we get Abyssal Battle, and maybe this could be the same for some of the others, they'll probably be showing up in there as well. They are actually a character that this is where we're starting. I think maybe I would like to have these characters on my account. Maybe we would start to miss them if we don't have them. The next one along, we have got Hatsune and Shiori, who are another light character, light physical, AoE DPS damage, increases with the number of targets, and a little bit of team attack supports. They have had usage in EX boss fights with story modes. They've also been used in Deep Quest, I believe, and they will be probably very good for Battle Stadium events as well, similar to the other characters on here. You will perhaps get a little bit of use out of them, but there are characters that are a little bit more valuable up in the higher tiers. Now finally on here we have got Homare. Now, we're doing this tier list just after the release of the Summer Homare. If that Summer Homare had not been released, I think maybe this Homare would be a little bit higher up. She is a dark magical character with single target and AoE damage, targets the highest magical attack enemy, and she also has magical attack down. Now, in the last few months, several months, the Magical Dark team has been one of the best teams you can use, and this Homare was on that team, which is why I think she should maybe be a little bit higher. She's down here now because Summer Homare has been released, who has seemingly replaced her on that team. So if you've got Summer Homare, then this Prifest Homare is not as high a priority as it would have been. If you don't have the Summer Homare and you do have this Prifest Homare, then maybe you can artificially put her up into the next tier because you will be using her regularly, probably in clan battle in your dark magical team. So that is about half of the Prifest characters done. Now we are going to move on to the next tier. Now I would say every character coming up from now on you really would like to have on your account. They're all very valuable, but like I said, some are perhaps a little more valuable than the others. So we move on to regular use. And first up we have got Princess Yuri. Now Princess Yuri is a fire physical character, single target DPS with physical defense down, and she is here because she is quite crucial to have for the Fire Deep Quest. She features in most of, if not all of, the boss battles in Deep Quest. Having her on your team will make your life a lot easier. Also, I think being used a little bit in clan battle too. So for the fire team, she is a character that you would really like to have, especially if you need to borrow other characters. Having this Princess Yuri will allow you to maybe do that. Now the next character coming along, Labarista. I think Labarista is probably the Prifest character on the tier list that's fallen the most in my opinion. In my last tier list she was in top priority, now she's down here to use regularly. The elemental update system has not done her any favours whatsoever. She is a light physical character, physical attack support with action speed buff. For the elemental update, she was on every physical team. Now she's really limited to light physical teams, and because of that we don't see her used quite as often. This is a character you still would like to have on your account, but her use over the last 6 months has diminished greatly, which is why she is only here in the used regular tier. Our next character, Muimi, fire physical with single tank and AoE DPS with physical defense down. She does have a stun and a knockback, although we don't really see that used too often. Another character that will help you greatly in the Fire Deep Quest. She's also good for modes like the Battle Stadium. She's been used in Clan Battle. Another character for the Fire team which will get a lot of use, mainly because we don't have a huge amount of options on the Fire team at the moment. But Muimi is definitely, with her 6-star, one of the top options for a Fire physical team. Another one of those options is the next character along, Christina, fire physical. A single target DPS with invulnerability, guaranteed crits and guaranteed hit, and a bit of physical defense down. One of the top physical damage dealers in the game, although again the elemental update system, she has not been used quite as much as she was before. Being used regularly, but maybe seems a little bit low, but yes, I don't think she is used quite as much as some of the other characters that are a little bit higher than her. You will maybe see her in clan battle teams when the boss is weak to fire. She may also help out in Deep Quest a little bit, although I'm not so sure about that. And she was pretty good in the Fire Abyssal Battle. Definitely a character you would like to have on your team. But if you're starting out, I would say there are still some priorities above her. Try and get first. Now we come to the newest, the most recent Prifest character here, the Princess Sheffy. She is water physical, the only water Prifest character that we have got. A double instance DPS with some crit damage support to the team. We haven't really had too much of a chance to use her, so maybe her place in here might change a little bit. Our thoughts might change a little bit over time when we get to see it, but she looks like she can do similar damage to Christina, but she also has a bit of support for the team, which is why she's slightly higher. Character that you would maybe like to have, especially for water physical, which has kind of been used quite a lot recently. She is used a lot in the recent clan battle, the most recent clan battle that we've had for August. I'm sure she will be used in a lot of other modes as well. Deep Quest definitely will help you get through at least 2 for 10. A very, very handy character to have indeed. And the final character we have got in this tier is Princess Kokoro, who has also maybe fallen a little bit from grace due to the introduction of another Prifest character we will talk about later. She is a wind physical character, a support with healing, TP and damage support for both magical and physical teams before the elemental update and before the introduction of a specific purple-haired Prifest character that we're going to talk about later. She was used in a lot of teams, very, very, very handy to have. Now she's kind of limited to the wind team, but on the wind team she is very valuable to have. You're going to want to have her there. She is helpful in most wind comps, both magical and physical. Okay, so we're moving on to the second to last tier now. These characters are very, very valuable must-have characters. So in this tier then, must-haves, we are going to start with L'Ariel, who is a light magical character, single target DPS with magical defense down, attack support, raises magical damage, also physical enemies take more damage for each action they perform. A very, very good character, seen a lot of use in clan battle on light magical teams. Now and again you will see her in the deep quest. Most magical light teams will have her on there. Her power is really good for buffing the damage that your magical characters do, which is why I have it up in must-haves. I have seen her used quite regularly ever since, well, over these last 6 months. She has been a staple of the light magical team. The next character along, perhaps she might be moved up 1 or 2 places, maybe in front of Princess Carol, but it's Nefinera, one of the new Prifest characters that we have had over the last 6 months. A fire physical character. She has got physical defense down, crit damage increase, team attack support, action speed. She heals and reduces magical damage with her area effect. She also has metallic protection, which reduces the damage that allies take and does damage in return when those allies get attacked. A saviour of the fire physical team, a character that is crucial to have for any fire physical team in clan battle, in deep quest, in any other mode really that you are going to want to be using a fire physical team. Nefinera will be appearing in those teams more than likely. She's also been seen off element once or twice. Characters that start to be used off element are the characters that are most valuable. Next up we have got Nenica, who's waiting on a 6-star. We should be getting a 6-star anytime soon, we hope. Light magical character, some damage, single target and AoE, magical defense down, TP boost, and she summons a clone, which is very handy. A staple again of light magical teams, used a lot in clan battle, now and again in the deep quest. Any light magical team, both AoE and single target, will make great use of this Nenica, and she's also on the team with an enemy that absolutely wipes most multiple target bosses out, so it's very valuable to have her so that you can build that team. Now the final character on this must-have tier is the Princess Carol, who is a dark magical character. She is a top DPS for the dark team, again seen now and again in clan battle in mixed comps with the other element that the boss is weak to. She does have a bit of magical defense down and a very small heal as well. You are going to want to have her for your team. She is one of the very best damage dealing, magical damage dealing characters in the game. If you want to run that dark magical team, she is going to be on it. And like I said, sometimes in clan battle we have mixed element teams, and she, if element that the boss is weak to, one of them is dark, she will be more than likely the DPS character that we have on there. She does Union Base very fast, gets a lot of damage off. A character that you are going to want to try and get if you don't already have her. So let's move on to the final tier, the top priority. And in this tier we have 3 characters, and these are characters that you must have on your team, even more so than the must-have category. They are the top priority. These characters are used all the time, everywhere, and the one thing that all 3 of them have in common is that they are very regularly used off element. If these characters are used off elements, then you know that they are very good and a very good kit. So first we've got Ameth. Now Ameth was number 1 on my last Prifest tier list. I've got him at number 3 this time. Now let's talk about that, why that is. She is a light magical character. She has got the support, heal, she has got defense buffs, nullification barriers, damage reduction, TP and attack support for the team. A very good versatile support character used in most teams to keep your characters alive and maybe help them do a bit more damage as well. Very valuable character to have, used in every mode in the game, every mode, even PvP, deep quest, fan battle, every mode you will see Ameth used, which is why she is here in top priority. If you don't have her, you are going to start to struggle a little bit in progressing in the game. Now the next character we have got Anemone, who is another new character in the last 6 months. Wind physical character. She has a field DPS. The only damage she does is with this field damage over time, damage per second. She also, however, reduces the enemy's attack and defense, raises allies' defense. She has a bit of healing, drains a bit of TP from the opponent, and restores some allies' TP, and also boosts her own action speed. Again, what we're seeing here with characters that are at the top here have got quite a lot in their kit. They have got a lot of utility. Anemone has absolutely broken the game with her release. If you're coming up against a multi-target boss, it is highly likely that Anemone will be on the team, even off elements, even in modes like Battle Stadium, in Deep Quest against the ad levels, where you've got multiple opponents. She is also very good at that as well, taking out multiple opponents within the time limit. We have got some killer comps which have got this Anemone in it. You are going to want to have her on your account because she is a top priority. And the final character we have got here is Eris. Now Eris, I think, is undoubtedly the number 1 character in the game. Your most topest of top priorities, if that is even a word. You want to get Eris. If you don't have Eris, you will be stuck, and you will be stuck. There will be a lot of teams you can't build. She is a dark magical character. She's got heal, she's got damage nullification barrier, she's got action speed buff, she's got team defense buff, team TP, attack support, and a one-time revive. Very similar to Ameth, but she's got action speed and she's got a revive as well. Used almost in every team there is out there, even off element, every mode as well. Like I said, Clown Battle she's used in PvP, she's used in Abyssal Battle, she's used everywhere. Deep Quest, you name it, Eris is everywhere. So there we go, that is my Prifest tier list, which was done in August, at the end of August 2024. Let me know what you think of this tier list. Would you move any of these characters around? This, I think, is a pretty good guide if you are a new player to know which Prifest to target when there is a Prifest banner. Thank you very much for watching. I am Tokkuri Yashi then, and I will see you all for another video. Bye 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 bye. Hey!